So, welcome to the Settlers 4 World Championship, first round of the Swiss stage. On the left side we have ZL, the General. Yeah, the General. On the right side we have Fenek. Fenek is playing Vikings. Oh, first of all, we are playing on the Buddle map Happy. And we have a German against a Polish, so actual international face-off, not like most of the others. Fenek is playing Vikings, and General is playing Romans. General usually plays Romans, so I'm not that surprised. I don't actually know what Fenek mostly plays, but I've heard of a few quite strong Viking builds on in general, like quite good PT rushes. So we'll see what Fenek is putting out. Fenek is, as a Polish player, more used to higher speeds. So it'll be interesting to see how well he fares with the speed 1. Technically it should be easier and you should be able to play better and more precise. But it does tends to throw you off if you play in a different speed, no matter which way it goes. Just for like you get the feeling you need to build something now, but you don't necessarily have to yet. And General is a very, very experienced German player that has played in tournaments before, won the last 2v2, not the last technically, but the last big 2v2 tournament with TCG Slayers for. Seeing two medium houses right off rip. On Fenek's side we're only seeing one, the second one is on a shovel now. Which I feel like is... I like to see small houses on all of these maps, like on... yeah, literally on all three of the modes, because the starts are... You do get to build quite a lot, and you don't, and you want to have the settlers as quickly as possible. The small houses produce the settlers twice as fast, although they produce less settlers. But you then can also even build multiple small houses, and when you do that, basically duper speed. Welcome in, Patzer. So... yeah, small houses really fast at producing settlers, and for Buddle and Metze mode you really need those settlers as fast as possible. And for the HGMG you don't need the settlers as fast as possible necessarily, but you also don't need that many anyways. So it's really nice to just start out with a small house to really make sure your wood and stone production is up and running as fast as possible. Here we're seeing the standard for the Buddle, building the souls as quickly as possible. These for civs that aren't that stone heavy, which the Romans and Vikings are. We are seeing the stone mine that is very easy accessible for both civilizations here in the beginning. 2 stone mines for the Roman. I'm a little surprised by, like, I guess, yeah, they are just good, so it's 100% stone mines. Although I feel like they are on both sides placed... actually no, I think these are placed a little bit higher up, so they are actually running at 100%. But I feel like this stone mine is placed at the edge of the mountain, so it won't run on 100% because it would work down here in the area where there's just no mountain, so no stone to get out of the mountain. And yeah, other than that, pretty standard build-up, so building more houses, sawmills, into their forests and lumberjacks. So I feel like the lumberjacks and forests are a little slow here on General side. We're seeing way more on Fenek side already. Maybe there was like a tower delayed or something like that. Actually, this forester here is already finished. Yeah, it's not that much slower. Interested to see. I feel like with the recent changes, with sub peacetime being 60 minutes, this map already was quite yeah, map that is easy to rush on because the distance is just very short. You can like build your barracks like over here, then you like need to barely walk over to get into the enemy settlement. And now with saboteurs already being allowed at peacetime immediately, there's also like no real like putting your barracks all the way back here and then getting the distance like longer. At that point you have quite a defender's advantage. I think you can still do that relatively well because saboteurs are quite an investment. Pickaxes ain't like, could have been a weapon, and a weapon like you having 10 saboteurs could have been 10 soldiers, and 10 soldiers can decide a fight. Especially if you're pushing and you have the walking distances between enemies. Yeah, still relatively standard stuff. I don't see any craziness like settlers. They both are just trying to get their forest conquered as quickly as possible and build their lumberjacks and forests. It'll be more interesting about the other timings. I also find it interesting both of them are feeding their stone mines with bread and not with fish. I like to build an early fisher on this map. You do have the resources, getting those sawmills, like having logs already laying on the ground at the beginning, so you can build those sawmills immediately. Makes you really able to push for some other buildings at the start, and just building that one fisher to make sure that the stone mine keeps running and doesn't eat all your bread is something that at least I like to do a lot. Just building one fisher and feeding the stone mines with them. Doesn't run perfectly, one fisher on one stone mine, on 2 stone mines, what I do as a Trojan, but it works well enough since you have the starting fish as well. Does hold on for quite a while. Welcome in, Guru and Michael. I'm interested to see if we're gonna see a mana build. These are just more sawmills. Yeah, like on the other side as well. I think 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sawmills, if I'm not mistaken. That is quite a huge number. Let's see if he can actually keep the sawmills working. Like right now, I think I saw earlier that the sawmills of General weren't fully didn't idle for a tiny bit when the starting logs ran out, and the first lumberjacks just didn't come in quite quickly enough. Oh yeah, I'm doing well, Michael. Haven't been streaming a lot and now only really doing Settlers 4 stuff, but yeah, I've been well, and hopefully some ITT stuff will come soon again as well. Doing a lot of modding stuff, trying to get stuff like that going, so we can get some more interesting content. Not the same good old speedruns. Yeah. Right now commentating a Settlers 4 match. Welcome in, Moon. How many sawmills is General going up to? Right now we're still only at 4. Though there are a lot more lumberjacks than you need for 4. 5th is coming up. I think this is probably 6, 7. And this is 8. Then we have 4 farms down here. The toolsmith is now coming in. As with the huge amount of starting saws and axes, you're very well able to build your entire economy at the beginning without a single toolsmith. Toolsmith already got some stone, I assume, for Fenek. I assume he is playing with Prio right now. For the beginning, you can do that. Isn't really that necessary, as you have enough diggers. On bottle maps you do need to dig out the ground for the buildings, but it's not as... like the ground is relatively even already. General left indeed. General in blue as the Roman on the left side and Fenek in yellow as the Vikings on the right side. Here the toolsmith for General is now running. The mines are already finished building as well. And the first grain farms are getting their resources. Their wood and stone. 2, 4, 6, 7. So I assume, yeah, that's gonna be an 8. A little bit later on the line. Looks very well. Like how the first ones, like I think, did run dry for just a tiny bit, but now it looks like a very nice amount of logs for the saws. This side there are definitely more saws and logs available right now. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of buildings down here. Like this is a grain farm, this is a grain farm. I assume these are fishers / waterworks. Not quite sure what these are. Maybe these are like already mills and bakeries and stuff like that. But I feel like he needs, like, for his 11 sawmills that he builds, I think he needs more lumberjacks here. Like we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know where I started counting. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Yeah, 16 ain't enough for 11. Not even close. I'm wondering where he's gonna get that wood from, or if you just like overbuild the saws, like because you have the saws at the beginning and you don't have the axes. The toolsmith isn't coming yet. We are seeing some more houses. Is there a lack of settlers maybe? It does seem like there's a little bit of a shortage on the settler side here. I assume that general looks better in terms of settlers. Yeah, there are a few settlers standing around. Not too many, but you don't need too many. Just a few is well enough. And so far for general looks quite clean. The first grain farms are finishing up. The lack of settlers is really hurting for Fenek because I think most of the stuff is still being carried. But yeah, it would be really nice to get up the toolsmith and more. Actually, no, these are woodcutters. Oh, because these are foresters. Ah, I see, I see. So we do get a few more lumberjacks, but that probably isn't quite enough still for 11 sawmills. Like 11 sawmills is a lot. We at least need like 22 lumberjacks. I think we're close to that even at this point. Only 311, yeah. That sounds better than what we're having right now. At least unless these have added that much and I didn't realize. Oh, we're seeing some more over here. Maybe he is going up to the right amount. Which, you know, wouldn't surprise me because usually you do. And we are seeing one settler standing around. So there isn't an urgent lack of settlers, which is nice. We do see a few of the stones already going into the grain farms though. Which, again, stone mine for Vikings. Like he essentially just doesn't need any stone and has infinite stone. Yeah, the houses need to finish up. Then the grain farms can come, and then it's a little slower than general. As here we are, grain farms are already working. The toolsmith is already working for quite a bit. Getting a few pickaxes ready, making a scythe, and probably also like some diggers or like shovels and hammers. Yeah, mostly pickaxes right now. That's what he's building. Didn't count all of them. Yeah, I'd agree. I definitely agree that the medium houses could be crushed because like this isn't a lot of settlers. At the beginning you do have much more beds than settlers usually for like the first 2 to 3 medium houses. I'm not quite sure how many you can build before you need to crush them, but you can build before you can't crush them anymore, but there's like quite a few on Buddle that you can crush, and that is quite a lot of resources that also like snowballs. Like if you crush them early, you get the resources to build more like lumberjacks and sawmills, which you then give you faster more resources again, and it like is a snowball effect that just costs you like, it can cost you like quite a lot of time. The beginning for these kind of maps are really important, these set maps, and most of the time the deciding factor, like there can still be like settler shortages later down the line that can completely ruin you, but generally said the first like 10 minutes are the most important part for these set maps. That's where you're gaining most of your advantages / disadvantages. Yeah, Waterworks now is seeing the mill and the bakeries coming up for general. Quite a clean game so far. Nothing really I can complain about. I think the sawmills did run dry a little bit in the beginning, but I think that was also kind of planned for. So nothing bad to see here. We're seeing a few storages for ores. Yeah, seeing not just ores, also pickaxes. Seeing more fishers. Other stone mines. So the stone mines, I assume, got their start now. There just isn't any bread around anymore. I sadly didn't see if the coal mines actually got some bread, or if they just ran off of their starting coal. I wonder where the fish is going right now. I haven't seen that, but apparently the fish is all eaten up. Maybe it went to the coal mines because they were already running out of bread because of the 2 stone mines in the beginning. On this side I don't think there's an issue, like yeah, there's still even bread lying around. So the coal mines definitely will be running enough. Toolsmith is now coming up. There's absolutely no lack of settlers anymore, but we're seeing way more wood. Like we're seeing the sawmill stack up, which is quite sad because these could all be finished. Like the stone is already in them. The grain farms could be finished, and he could already be starting to build like some more houses to get settlers and then further production. I think this is mana over here. I think this is probably... Okay, how are they called? I can't look. No! Honey makers. I don't know how they're called in English right now. But yeah, probably it's going into some mana production, but this really hurts. Okay, they do now get the wood. Yeah, this is quite a huge delay compared to General, who does play quite a clean game so far. Beekeeper? Yeah, Beekeeper sounds right. Is it best to just crush as many houses as possible until you start recruiting soldiers? Crushing, generally said you always want to crush the houses as long as you have the beds for your settlers. That's just how it goes. And at the very beginning you have a lot more beds than you have settlers, because your settlers are becoming the builders, the diggers, and they go into all these lumberjacks and foresters, so you like have a lot of settlers that are just used up and are not counting as your normal settlers anymore. So you can crush a lot of houses at the very start of the game, like the first 2-3 houses are crushed very fast, and later down the line it slows down quite a lot, especially if you start to build some some large houses. Large houses, just like before you can crush those, there needs to be 60 settlers doing something else. Later, when you, like very much later, when you recruit, then you can start crushing a lot more houses again. And then you also kind of want to do it to get the resources to build more houses, because you're constantly losing settlers that become soldiers. And you want to keep your economy running, / even grow it. So yeah, you want to kind of crush as much as possible, basically the entire game long. There is a niche case where you wouldn't want to do it if you are sure you're not gonna be able to keep an enemy Vikings priest out of your settlement, and you're also sure that the enemy actually will use Thor's hammer on your large houses. Because that's like a niche case where if you're like very close to your, like if you crushed your houses so that the bats are like very close to your settlers amount, then just losing like 1 or 2 large houses could like immediately give you a lot of striking settlers, which loses you a lot of settlers and can therefore put you into a settlers shortage, which can be quite rough. It's like the one niche case where you technically don't want to crush them. They also technically give combat power, so if you like get the exact point where you get a tick from the combat power for the unit type you're currently using, like you had 119 combat power for the how are they called? For the bowmen. Then you don't want to crush your large houses at that moment, or any houses, because you run into the danger of losing that combat power spike and go down to 118. I had some Dark Tribe music because there's a little bit of Dark Tribe, Dark Land in here. So seeing that general very loosely guards the middle. I'm pretty sure if you'd like actively be watching, like you could have gone through here. We don't have... Oh, we do actually have a few thieves. Wondering if these thieves are... I think there are at least these two are just standing at this big... Oh, they're probably just taking the gold. At least some of the gold is picked up. Maybe they tried to get through. I'll see if they're... So, yeah. We do see the grain farms have actually finished up by now. I don't think they really started working much. Yeah, they're just starting. The beekeepers have also started working now. So I'm assuming that we're gonna see either a stone to iron build from Fenek, or we're gonna see combat mana, like some Axe warriors with some swordsmen going in would be quite strong if they... I don't know how the spell is called, but the... Blood Rush, maybe? Something like that. Increasing the attack strength, the combat power for melee soldiers, or I guess swordsmen plus special units, which Axe warriors are. Yeah, looking back to general, I think we are right now in a... No, there was like one standing there, so it's like very on the edge. Like there are a few standing here and there, but I assume like gold smelters and some other stuff is gonna finish up, and then it will look even tighter. But I think like these large houses, at least this one is still producing settlers, this one is producing settlers, this is finishing up, so it should be fine. It's very well played. You see some more ores in the storage, isn't fully filled up, so it's like quite nice. These are finishing, we'll take the ores. I don't really think it's needed to store ores on Metzel or Buddle. You can usually just place your mines quite well with the heavy industry. You don't have something like on random maps where you're like limited on gold, like you have plenty of gold on this map. The thing you're first gonna be limited with is either iron or coal, depending on the civilization you're playing. Never really gold. But yeah, General is already going into the heavy industry while Fenek is still building the mana production up. It's also sad, I think, yeah, the sawmills are still... Like he needs to be building more. Putting this, like I saw this earlier when he placed this building on the middle of the mountain for the Roman vineyards. This building probably hurt his diggers quite a lot, taking their work time. And now he is not able to actually dig enough buildings to fully let his saws run. But I guess it's fine, like he doesn't have that many lumberjacks, so like it isn't actually overflowing the logs, so I guess it's kind of fine. Could be a little smoother, a little better. But yeah, it is pretty fine. Generally said, the timings are worse than they could be, but he does still get his buildings going. And yeah, I mean, if he's gonna build some Exorius with some swordsmen, the blood rush on them, Romans don't really have a proper answer to that, other than just having enough soldiers, maybe using a convert, but I don't think we're gonna see mana from general here. So that might be a way to still win, even if you have like slightly worse timings and less soldiers. That's a good number of soldiers apiece. Yeah, it's I wouldn't say there's really a defined strength of the civilizations yet. Like I've heard some different opinions go around. I personally am not yet like far enough to call any one of the civilizations best or worst. I do feel like that Mayans are probably on the Buddle strongest of the four civilizations. I also haven't seen a strong Mayan round yet. So like it's mostly guess. Like in testing we had a few that were like quite strong, and that's where a lot of the like starting resources that were added for the other civilizations came from. But since then we haven't really seen like peak rounds of the other civilizations. So it's like maybe they can compare, maybe it is much closer than we might think at the moment. Like the group stage or Swiss stage will go for much longer, and I think the builds will develop much more. We'll see like really strong peacetime rush numbers and just going all in already. I feel like we're gonna see some more late game-ish approaches, maybe some back and forth, and then we really get to know which civilizations are the best. But I think like 170, like I think getting to 200 is like quite tough for all the civilizations, even for mine. So that's the general ballpark we're talking about here. 140 game from this. Yeah. that was a long one. No. And sorry for that. I think that Twitch is gonna run. At least that's what it looks like. It's in front of peacetime, so I'm happy about that at least. We're seeing the large temple come in now for Fenek, for the Viking. The grain farms are also actually producing grain now, so we can get the first bread, the first coal mines are placed, and we're seeing the first heavy industry already finished. So it's a little bit of a later timing. Like here we already have a few weapons and gold bars produced with offensive barracks, which is quite a usual call. Like as I said, I feel like the games could go longer and be easier to defend if people like actually would build their barracks at the back, but just everybody is like, oh, this map has such a short rush distance. So people just like build it in front and want to have a strong peacetime timing, but that also makes it so if your peacetime timing just isn't good, you just lose because they're at the front door. Can't really defend them that well. If the enemy comes in, they come in. Especially if you're like Fenek, conquered lots of land here in the front, you don't really have much room to fight in front of your, like outside of your land either. which is like the big point. Like, you can only fight in the middle if you want to fight outside of your land. And since you can't really fight outside of your land if you're like wanting to defend, you do really need some buildings in front of your barracks. And yeah, if you put them in front, that is much harder to achieve. Though it's still possible, you could still build houses in front of them. But yeah, you're still missing out on the much longer distance. But yeah, just increasing the rush distance basically if you put your barracks all the way in the back. I'd like some people to actually do that. And even if you put them all the way back here, you can still scout and see, oh, that dude just has like 2 full storages of weapons and gold and shortage of settlers. I'll wait like 1 or 2 more minutes and then go in. Like, even if you're coming from all the way back there, you can still see some good moments to engage and then take those. Not like you're completely out of opportunities, or not opportunities, agency. Can still do stuff from back there as well. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, okay, so we're seeing a few more hunters down here. And yeah, I assume these were casted. He is playing for meat production through mana, but he's not playing for stone to iron. Maybe we see a stone storage here, so maybe he's gonna cast a stone to iron once as well. I feel like you don't really need both. I don't think you need to cast some wild animals while also playing stone to iron. That at least sounds a little excessive. These weapons could have, for example, just been soldiers. I mean, we do have some weapons in gold here as well, but yeah, this is like, I'd say like 2 storages ahead, which isn't too crazy. Like, I can see the combat mana. Like, this is like 4 production lines, 4 small temples. Like 2 beekeepers into 3, 4? Like 2, 3, 4? Or is there another beekeeper somewhere? Because that, at least in my head, sounds wrong. But I also don't know the exact numbers for these kind of buildings. Like the mana productions that aren't Trojan. Like, as a Trojan main, I only really know the Trojan stuff. And I do know the other stuff loosely. So I know that you have less beekeepers than the rest usually, but 2 on like 4 small temples sounds quite little. But maybe there was like stuff built up, so he wanted to get that out and get the mana from that. That would at least make sense if it was not perfect. Yeah, not perfect numbers. On my last match, I didn't. I do think there's potential to play the mana battery on the map as Trojan. So you have the space to easily just put a full battery, like you'd play on other maps as well, on these eye mountains. But I think what would be a good build is to build a 7 coal battery on the coal fields and just keep them running. You cast onto the coal mines. That way you don't get the meat, but you're saving out on a lot of pickaxes and also a lot of resources that otherwise go into a battery. And I think you kind of need to do that, because otherwise the battery is like very early, it's slightly worse, then it gets stronger than grain farms. Like relatively soon after, I'd say like at 50 minutes, you're guaranteed better than grain farms, like no matter what way of battery you're playing. But then you have a good timing for quite a while, and then at some point grain farms get better again. And I think that's like the very early game, like the 40 to 45 minute mark, where you're like kind of struggling with a battery, where it's like you probably don't have as many soldiers as other builds of other civilizations, and they could just go kill you. So I feel like doing this to really get the battery, get the heavy industry up faster and be slightly less efficient, but still more efficient than grain farms, is really like that is probably the way. But I just didn't practice anything, and therefore I was like, I'll just play grain farms. They are safe. I'll get some numbers out, and it worked for me. I won that game, but I don't think it's the optimal way to play the map as Trojan. I think that there's also, by the way, the optimal build for the Metzer as well, I assume, with the coal mine battery. Because you just want to be strong at peacetime. I think on the Metzer you can be a little bit more relaxed, like the rush distance is longer there, and people would need to invest into some mana to smelt through the snow in the middle. So you can relax a little bit more on that map. So you might be able to just build your normal battery and be totally fine if the people just don't go in immediately. But I assume that there are rushes that would kill you there as well. Okay, I'll actually look here, because I think the heavy industry here for general is like pretty much done for peacetime. Like I think he has built as much as he can afford with his 4 grain farms, and actually we already see a 5th. Yeah. The grain farm expansion is already coming, the food expansion, and we are seeing a vineyard. I think this might be 2nd and this 3rd, 4th there actually. Is this like hilly enough? Interesting. Wouldn't have guessed that. Or like maybe it's like trying to work over there. Like this hill for wine is honestly quite sad. Like this isn't an amazing hill for Roman to use. No lack of settlers. We have a safety medium tower. Or large tower, I guess. Yeah, it's a large tower. Yeah, we have like it's like 4. It's probably like 8. I think it's what I skimmed through. No, it's 9. There's one more. We have 9 weaponsmiths, and seems like the gold seems to be fine as well. I'm wondering if he wants to build some beautifications to get some combat power. Right now the combat power is looking quite decent. Like 103. It's probably gonna be at 107 at peacetime without doing anything. Quite a lot of combat power. 130 soldiers already is also, like, this is quite a strong round from general. Interested to see if he'll just go in. And we are seeing like a defensive line here. Like we are seeing some buildings in front of the barracks. But we're also seeing swords and axes. If we're seeing those, you don't really want this defensive line. But I guess these are houses, so you can just kind of crush them and walk through them anyways. Yeah. Okay. Sieve is dying somewhere here. I don't know where, but apparently somewhere Sieve was dying. If we're looking around, I think there is... It looks like the settlers are immediately running when they're coming out of the houses, so... Another settler shortage. Unfortunate. Yeah, heavy industry is not nearly as much. We're only having 4 weaponsmiths right now. We did see stone to iron cast at some point. Well, we didn't see, but we're seeing that there's iron now. But yeah, the heavy industry just right now isn't able to compare. Therefore the soldier numbers aren't either. I feel like this, like, I don't think it's gonna be 200, which is little. Oh, the gold is missing actually. Is he building like yeah, he's building beautification, so that's why the gold is missing. He didn't like overbuild gold to make sure he can afford those beautifications. Other than that, I think this would be like quite a clean round, like getting to 200. Yeah, maybe I have the wrong numbers in mind. I forget what we were testing. I If you do place the beekeeper into a flower, you should be good with 2-3-3. Yeah, I know that the beekeepers are like slightly more efficient if you place them into flowers. You don't have many flowers around, like with like this. There's like they're kind of scattered all over the place, a few flowers, and they run a bit more efficient. But I don't see any flowers around here. Like this is grass. I'm pretty sure this doesn't count. And yeah, these have like quite large working areas. I'm pretty sure they do get smaller because like the beehives are like starting to work faster, to produce the first honey faster. And since they do that, the working area gets smaller, and with the working area getting smaller, they are more efficient. Oh, they're already going in. Okay, yeah, peacetime is over. And yeah, this is just GG. With like 200 soldiers from General with 107 combat power, yeah, 107 combat power. Against 100 defensive combat power, a couple freezes and blood rush. But in the end, you have offensive barracks with just much less numbers, and you can't really do anything against it. And that is GG. That is just how it goes sometimes. Didn't even really see the peacetime timing, but yeah, that is just how it goes, and was really clean build up by General. Okay, had better runs, GG. Better runs, so you've seen some practice runs of him. Interesting. But yeah. Let's have a look at the statistics. But yeah, General definitely played a very solid round. Like I like if I think about, I don't remember what like in the show match Evolution had. Evolution had like a really good one with much more combat power. Like this is increased by I. He didn't have 136 when I left. It's like a bonus that people get from my eye when they leave. Yeah. Really solid build up by General. Let's see if we're gonna scrolling through here real quick, just to have it on screen once at least. Then I'll see if we can interview them a tiny bit. I wanna know how happy General is with the round, if he felt like there could be stuff to improve. Welcome, Kamshi. Okay. General is still there. Fenek probably is like not that happy. They should be able to hear now.
Hello?
Yeah, okay. Now you can start your answer again, please.
Yeah, I'm happy to win, and the round was okay. Not good, but okay. Numbers at this time I have on 40, but 40 minutes, and yeah, it was okay, but not perfect. A little struggle, but it was okay, I think.
Do you know what the issue was? Like, did you notice anything in your gameplay? Because I didn't really notice something myself. Like, I didn't see a lack of settlers or stuff like that.
Yeah. The problem, or little problem, was the stone at minute 20. Not that much, but I have to play with the settlers with das Lager auf Englisch?
Storage,
yeah. With the storage I have to yeah, that was a problem because the houses were not getting built, but it was not a big deal, so yeah.
I mean, in the end,
a little delay for 1 minute.
Yeah, your numbers aren't like that off, so
yeah,
makes sense.
I know, but not that good as I can play this map.
Yeah, then if somebody out of chat still has a question, feel free to tell me. General had a pretty clean game here, so there's not really anything I'm like curious about. It was a very standard game. You did want to go into mana. Is that something you're generally thinking is like good? Because I feel like most people would say that it's just best to maximize your soldier production with metal mines at the start, or like do you think a little bit of mana is like always worth it?
Yeah, mana is worth it, but I will build the mana production at peacetime, and for me it's okay. I play like that every time.
Yeah, fair enough.
I want to build more soldiers, and yeah, I don't know if it's better or not
Okay.
better.
Now the question comes, why didn't you produce mana? I think the answer for that I can even give because like, usually like mana is more balanced around random maps where the mines are worse, and because the mines are worse, your weapon production is basically worse. Therefore, the mana doesn't need to be that strong. And these set maps have mines that always run at 100%, and therefore the mana just becomes much weaker in comparison. Like the mana doesn't get better on these maps, but the soldier production gets better, and then you can produce soldiers much easier. It's relatively rare that we see mana on these maps, but it does happen. Like there are reasonings, and combat spells are still quite strong, especially if you use them on a sharp timing. But yeah, thank you for the match, and I'm wishing you best of luck in the further tournament.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
Oh, that. Which enemy would be your favorite encounter? I like that question actually. So I'll give that before actually. But that's a good one.
Which enemy?
Yeah.
Player or?
Enemy player. Like, would you like to play against Slayer next round already?
Yeah, on Metze.
Against Slayer on Metze?
That would be fun. Yes.
Okay. Like to hear that. I'd be happy if King Cat can manage to draw that for us, but
yes,
we'll see what Arngis is gonna give us. Okay, but now thank you for the match. Wishing you best of luck in future rounds, and
thank you.
Bye bye to you. So, I now quickly got on my list of rig draws for no rig draws here, of course. Yeah, I haven't mentioned it earlier, but if you want to support the championship, where is it? You can donate. At this point, probably directly through the website. I can give you that link in a second. Yeah, donate through the website. Then we don't have any other charges applied to it. Otherwise, you could have donated during the stream where the command that is also in the title. Should have mentioned that earlier. Yeah, if you want to support the championship, there's a lot of effort going into it. A few costs here and there, like for the players, they know there's a bot that is made that is running on a server and website. A few costs that we'd like to cover. In the end, price is like a trophy that we haven't yet actually decided which trophy exactly where, but there is gonna be a trophy, 100% sure. Like that is just a fact. Like we're not gonna at the end have no prize at all. That'd be quite sad. So yeah, if you donate, that'd be helping us keep the costs in check. And yeah, generally, if you want to see more matches, best way to always be up to date on what matches are happening when is through the Discord. I can surely be able to provide you a link for that as well if you haven't joined it already. Oh my goodness, where is it? I go there, and then this. Yeah, this would be a link to the Discord. And yeah, link to the website I already gave. It's not as up to date as we'd like it to be. We still are like tournament started. Few things that we haven't yet gotten to update, as we are busy with some other things like keeping the matches going and running and making sure the organization with the Discord bot works. But yeah, I think that was it for me. Happy to watch the match. Happy to see such a clean round from General. And with that, I am gonna end for today as well. There are gonna be more streams all around. I don't know. I don't think there are gonna be many in English. I'm trying to maybe cover a few more like competitive matches that are gonna be close. But I think there's like gonna be like one more in the evening today that I was thinking about covering, but I don't have time. So we'll see. But I'm trying to cover a few more in the upcoming days. There'll always be a little bit of a short notice because I'm not that sure when to do which match. Other than that, if you're German watching right now, there'll be plenty of streams the upcoming days from different channels for all these matches, even some more today, that you can check out. Easy to find through the Discord. And with that, I'm wishing you all a great time, and until next time, bye bye.